everyone. I welcome to this class. I am Neetu from St. Paul's School, and today we will study chapter 7, the necklace, for class 10. In this chapter we will study about a lady named Matilda. So in the first, Matilda is invited to a grand party. So for this grand party, because she had not any kind of precious jewelry, so she borrows a necklace from her friend and later then loses it. She lost that precious diamond necklace in that party. So later then what happens with her husband, and how she will manage, what she will tell to her friend. This we will study in this chapter. The necklace, chapter 7, from Footprints Without Feet textbook. She was one of those pretty young ladies born as if through an error of destiny. She refers to the Matilda, pretty means very smart, of destiny, into a family of clerks, and it was an error of destiny for herself, for Matilda. Why? Why here the author has written that this is the error of destiny? Because she had a big dreams. She wanted to live a very luxurious life, but unfortunately her husband was clerk and she didn't like this type of middle class family. So it was an error of destiny, into a family of clerks. Clerk means here the author means that related to a middle class. She had no dowry, no hopes, no mean of becoming known, loved and married by a man either rich or distinguished. Distinguished means very famous or very well-known person, because she wanted to marry with a very rich person, well-known, very famous person, but unfortunately just opposite happened with her. And she allowed herself to marry a petty clerk in the office to the board of education, and her husband was a clerk in the board of education office. She was simple, but she was unhappy. That Matilda was also very simple, but she was not happy in her life. So she was unhappy. She suffered incessantly, feeling herself born for all delicacies and luxuries. And she suffered incessantly, means continuously she was feeling herself just like a born as a delicacies, means fineness, and luxurious means richness, because she wanted that my life is only for richness, and so she was not happy there. She suffered from the all poverty for her apartment. The shabby walls means dirty walls. The walls were not beautiful as she had dreamed. And the worn chairs, means stone. In Hindi we say घिसी हुई chair, because it was not the new. All these things tortured and angered her. So all these things like the dirty walls and the broken chairs, all these every time tortured herself. Whenever she was looking at the walls and she was looking at the chairs and all the dirty things, means they were not new as she had dreamed. So she was getting depressed as she looked at this. When she seated herself for dinner opposite her husband, who uncovered her tureen with a delighted air, saying, "Oh, the good pot pie, I know nothing better than that." She would think of elegant dinners, but just opposite, her husband was happy there in that life, in that flat, but she was thinking just opposite from her husband. Elegant dinners means she was thinking about a very graceful dinners of shining silver. She had a dream that there should be dining table very neat and clean, and there were silver plates on her dining table. She thought of the exquisite food served in marvelous dishes, and she had this dream. Exquisite means lovely, and marvelous means very amazing. Means just earlier we studied that she was thinking like that there should be silver plates, silver dishes on her dining table. She had neither frocks nor jewels, nothing, and she loved only those things. She had a rich friend, a schoolmate at the convent, but she had a very rich friend when she was just studying in her school life. That time she had a friend because they both were studying in the convent school. whom she didn't like to visit. And now at present she didn't like to visit her because she was a very rich lady and Matilda was not as rich as her friend. She suffered so much when she returned. She wept for whole days for despair and disappointment. And whenever, if unfortunately she met with her school friend, then she became upset. She became very sad. One evening, her husband returned, elated, bearing in his hand a large envelope. So one evening, her husband, elated means happy. When he returned from his office, he was very happy and he had an envelope in his hand. Here he said, "Here is something for you," and he was very delighted. He was very happy, and he has given envelope to his wife. She quickly drew out a printed card on which were inscribed these words, and in this envelope was written, "The Minister of Public Instruction and Madam George Ramponneau ask the honor of Mr. and Ma'am Luzel's company. Ma'am Luzel's company, Monday evening, January 18 at the minister's residence." Instead of being delighted as her husband had hoped, her husband was thinking like that when Matilda will read this, she will be very happy, but she just opposite, again she became very upset. She threw the invitation spitefully, means with very hatred. She threw that invitation card upon the table and murmuring, "What do you suppose I want with that?" Murmuring means whispering, धीरे से बोलना. And she asked to her husband, "What do you suppose I want with that?" "But my dearie, I thought it would make you happy. You never go out, and this is an occasion, and a fine one. Everybody wishes one, and it is a very select, not many are given to employees. You will see the whole official world there." And her husband told that if you will come with me, you will be very happy and you will meet how my office life, because office has not given this envelope to all the employees. She looked at him with an irritated eye and declared impatiently, "What do you suppose I have to wear to such a thing as that?" Then she asked that if suppose I will come in that grand party, and what I will wear. He had not thought of that. He stammered. Stammered means stumbled. "Why, the dress you wear when we go to the theatre. It seems very pretty to me." He was just silent, stupefied, in dismay at the sight of his wife weeping. Stupefied means stunned. He stammered, "What is the matter? What is the matter?" Then again her husband started to ask, "Then what is the matter? Because whenever we go to the theatre, that dress also very pretty. You look very beautiful in that dress. So you can wear that dress, that frock or whatever she was wearing." By a violent effort, she had controlled her vexation. Vexation means irritation, and responded in a calm voice, wiping her moist cheeks, "Nothing, only I have no dress, and consequently I cannot go to this affair. Give your card to some colleagues whose wife is better fitted out than I." Then she replied that now I have not any beautiful or pretty dress, so I don't want to come in this party. So it will be better that this invitation card you will give to your colleagues whose wife has a better dress than me. He was grieved but answered, "Let us see, Matilda, how much would a suitable costume cost? Something that would serve for other occasions, something very simple." She reflected for some seconds, thinking of a sum that she could ask for without bringing with it an immediate refusal and a frightened exclamation from the economical clerk. Finally she said in a hesitating means unsure voice, "I cannot tell exactly, but it seems to me that 400 francs ought to cover it." Then she replied, francs is a currency. So she replied that maybe something 400 francs I need for my to purchase my new dress. He turned a little pale. Little pale means his face became little yellow because that person had not much money, for he had saved just this sum to buy a gun that he might be able to join some hunting parties the next summer. Because he saved this 400 francs because he wanted to buy a gun for this hunting parties the next summer with some friends who went to shoot larks on Sunday. Lark is a type of bird and they wanted to hunt. So he saved this 400 francs for himself because he wanted to buy a gun. Nevertheless, he answered, very well, I will give you 400 francs, but try to have a pretty dress. Then also he was ready to give her 400 francs. The day of the ball means that party, approached and Ma'am Luzel seemed sad, but that day also Ma'am Luzel is Matilda. Then also she was not happy that day. Disturbed, anxious, nevertheless her dress was nearly ready. Her husband said to her one evening, what is the matter with you? You have acted strangely for 2 or 3 days. Then again her husband asked to her, then now what is the matter? You have a pretty dress also, just we have purchased. Now also you are not happy. What is the matter? What is the reason of your sadness? And she responded, I am vexed, I am worried not to have a jewel, nothing to adorn myself. I have not any other things, I have not any other jewelry so I can decorate myself. I shall have such a poverty-stricken look. I would prefer not to go to this party. So again Matilda told to her husband that it will be good if you will not go to the party. He replied, you can wear some natural flowers in this season. They look very cheap. Cheap means fashionable. Nowadays it is in this flower jewelry in fashion, so you can use this. She was not convinced. Then also she was not satisfied. Convinced means satisfied. No, she replied, there is nothing more humiliating than to have a shabby air in the midst of rich women. Then her husband cried out, how stupid we are. Go and find your friend, Ma'am Forestier, and ask her to lend you her jewels. Then her husband got this idea and she told to her like that, you know na, your school friend, she is a very rich Ma'am Forestier, so go and take from her. She uttered a cry of joy. It is true, she said. I had not thought of that. Story of distress, Ma'am Forestier went to her closet, took out a large jewel case, brought it, opened it and said, choose my dear. So she went there and her friend was very good. She was a very kind-hearted. So she has given a full box and told to Matilda that any other, whatever the necklace you want, you take. She saw at first some bracelets, then a collar of pearls, then a Venetian cross of gold and a jewel of admirable workmanship. She tried the jewels before the glass, hesitated, but could neither decide to take them nor leave them, because she liked all, but she was not able to select one. Then she asked, have you nothing more? Why, yes, look for yourself. I don't know what will please you. Then she replied, I have many more, but I don't know what will, which necklace you will make you happy. Suddenly she discovered in a black satin box a superb necklace of diamonds. Her hands trembled as she took it out. She placed it about her throat against her dress, was ascetic. Then she asked in a hesitating voice, full of anxiety, could you lend me this, only this? Why? Yes, certainly. Then she asked for this diamond necklace. Then that Ma'am Forestier was ready to give anyone. She fell upon the neck of her friend, embraced her with patience, then went away with her treasure. Treasure means it was a great treasure for Matilda, Khajana. The day of the ball arrived, so the day of that party arrived. Ma'am Luzel was a great success and Matilda, Ma'am Luzel means Matilda. She was very happy. She was the prettiest of all and she was looking very beautiful, very amazing, elegant, gracious, smiling and full of joy. All the men noticed her, asked her name and wanted to be presented. She danced with enthusiasm, intoxicated with pleasure, thinking of nothing but all this admiration, the victory so complete and sweet to her heart. So everyone was looking at her face on the Matilda because she was looking very pretty. She went home towards 4 o'clock in the morning. So after the party, in the morning 4 o'clock, she went to her house. Her husband had been half asleep in one of the little saloons since midnight. with 3 other gentlemen whose wives were enjoying themselves very much. He threw around her shoulders the modest wraps they had carried to hurry away in order not to be noticed by the other women who were wrapping themselves in rich furs. Lizel detained her. Wait, said he, I am going to call a cab. Then when they came out from that party and her husband told that, wait, I am calling a cab. But she would not listen and descended the steps rapidly. When they were in the street, they found no carriage. And when they were in the street, there was not any other carriage, any other car or cabs, anything. And they began to seek for one, so they were walking, hailing the coachman whom they saw at a distance. They walked along towards the river, hopeless and shivering. Finally, they found one of those old carriages that one sees in Paris after nightfall. It took them as far as their doors and they went wearily up to their apartment. It was all over for her, and on his part, he remembered that he would have to be at the office by 10 o'clock because it was already 4 past and he had to go to his office at 10 o'clock. So he was in a very hurry and he wanted to sleep also. She removed the wraps from her shoulders before the glass for a final view of herself in her glory. And for the last appearance, she stood in front of the mirror because she wanted to see her beauty and her dress also. She stood there in front of the mirror. Suddenly she uttered a cry and suddenly she started to cry. Her necklace was not around her neck. And why she was just shouting? Because necklace, that the diamond necklace of Ma'am Forrester, it was not there in her neck, around her neck. Loisel, already half undressed, asked what is the matter. And that her husband also already half undressed. And he asked her what is the matter. She turned towards him excitedly. I no longer have Ma'am Forrester's necklace. He arose in dismay. What? How is that? It is not possible. And they looked in the folds of the dress, in the folds of the cloak, in the pockets, everywhere. They could not find it. He asked, are you sure? Who still had it when we left the minister's house? Then he asked that you are very sure that when we left that party, that time necklace were there around your neck. Yes, I felt as we came out. But if you had lost it in the street, we should have heard it fall. It must be in the cab. Yes, it is possible. Did you take the number? No. And you? Did you notice what it was? No. Then both asked to each other that you have noticed who was that the number of that cab. Then they both denied. They looked at each other, utterly cast down. Finally, Lizel dressed himself again. I am going. Then that Matilda's husband, he ready that now I am going. I am going, he said, over the track where we went on foot to see I can find it. Then because some distance that time we were walking, so I am going and I will check. And he went. She remained in her evening gown, not having the force to go bed. Towards 7 o'clock her husband returned. So that time it was 4 o'clock. Now after 3 hours again Matilda's husband returned. He had found nothing. He went to the police and to the cab offices, put an advertisement in the newspaper offering a reward. She waited all day in a state of bewilderment before this frightful disaster. Lizel returned in the evening, his face pale. He had discovered nothing. So in the evening when Matilda's husband missed that, Lizel returned. That time again he was looking very unhappy because he had not achieved anything. He said, write to your friend that you have broken the clasp of the necklace and you will have it repaired. They will give us some time. So she wrote as he had dictated. So as Matilda's husband dictated, Matilda written on paper and she sent that letter to her friend. At the end of the week, they had lost all hope. And Lizel, older by 5 years, declared we must replace this jewel. In a shop of the Palace Royal, they found a chaplet of diamonds, means the string, There was in Hindi we say Qatar of diamonds which seemed to them exactly like the one they had lost, and it was valued at 40,000 francs. So now the cost of that diamond necklace is 40,000 francs, and actually Lizel and his wife had no money. He saved only 400 francs that already they spent on the Matilda's dress. So now they have to pay that diamond necklace, they have to give to Matilda's friend. So they came to the diamond shop, and the real cost of the diamond necklace is 40,000 francs. They could get it for 36,000. Lizel possessed 18,000 francs which his father had left him. So that person had 18,000 francs because that his father left for him. He borrowed the rest. He made ruinous promises, took money from usurers and the whole race of lenders. Then he went to get the new necklace, depositing on the merchant's counter 36,000 francs. When Ma'am Lizel took back the jewel to Ma'am Forestier, the latter said to her in a frigid tone, "You should have returned them to me sooner, for I might have needed them." Ma'am Forestier did not open the jewel box as Ma'am Lizel feared she would. What would she think if she should perceive the substitution? What should she say? Would she take her for a robber? Now she was very worried. Ma'am Lizel means that Matilda, she was very worried about that necklace, that when my friend means that Ma'am Forestier will see, if she will open the box, maybe she will tell me that this is not my necklace or something. She will think like that I am a robber. But she had not opened the box. Ma'am Forestier not opened the box. Ma'am Lizel now knew the horrible life of necessity. She did her part, however, completely, heroically. It was necessary to pay this frightful debt. She would pay it. They sent away the maid. They sent away the maid. They replaced the maid, and Matilda herself, that Ma'am Lizel, started to all the household work because now they have to pay this big amount. They changed their lodgings. They rented some rooms in an attic. She learned the odious work for a kitchen. She washed the dishes. She washed the soiled linen, their clothes and disclothes, which she hung on the line to dry. She took down the refuse to the street each morning and brought up the water, stopping at each landing to catch her breath, and clothed like a woman of the people. She went to the grocers, the butchers and the fruitiers, and with her basket on her arm, shopping, hangling to the last so of her miserable money. And she started to do all these works. Earlier, they had a servant to do all these kind of works. The husband worked evening, putting the books of some merchants in order, and nights be often did copying at 5 sous a pace. And then this life lasted for 10 years. And the end of the 10 years, they had restored all. Ma'am Lizel seemed old now. So, during this 10 years, they have to do all these works because after 10 years, they have paid all the money. Ma'am Lizel seemed old now. She had become a strong, hard woman, the crude woman of the poor household. Her hair badly dressed, her skirts sorry, her hands red. She spoke in a loud tone and washed the floor with large pails of water. But sometimes when her husband was at the office, she would sit herself before the window and think of that evening party of former times, of that ball where she was so beautiful and so flattered, and everyone was praising her beauty. Sometimes she suddenly thought about that party. How would it have been if she had not lost the necklace? Now she was thinking like this: suppose I had not lost that necklace, then my life will be completely different. But now she had to live this dirty life according to herself. She was doing all the work, and she was looking just like an old woman. Who knows how singular is life and how full of changes? How small a thing will ruin or save one. She didn't know about it that a diamond necklace will change her life completely ruin her life. One Sunday, as she was talking a walk in the Thames, Alice to rid herself to the cares of the week, she suddenly she saw that woman. Which woman? Her school friend, Ma'am Forrester. Suddenly she met with her, and it was Ma'am Forrester, still young, still she was looking young, still pretty, still attractive. Ma'am Luzel was affected. Should she speak to her? That Ma'am Luzel means Matilda. She was not ready to talk with her. Maybe if again she asked to me about that diamond necklace, that it was not mine, because there was a changes in the diamond necklace. So she was worried. So she was thinking that should I talk to her or not. Ma'am Lucille was affected. Should she speak to her? Yes, certainly. And now that she had paid, and now she became ready to talk with her, because she already paid. She already had given the diamond necklace. She would tell her all. Why not? She approached her. Good morning, Jenny. Then she told, good morning. Then her friend didn't recognize her and was astonished to be so familiarly addressed by this common person is. And Ma'am Forrester was shocked. Astonished means she was shocked. How very familiarly that unknown lady, the stranger lady talking to me, because Matilda looking just different from the earlier appearance. She became old. So Ma'am Forrester was not able to recognize her. She stammered, but madam, I don't know. You must be mistaken. Then Ma'am Forrester replied that I think you are taking some means I am not your friend. How you are talking to me? No, I am Matilda Luzel. Then she replied, I am Matilda Luzel. Her friend uttered a cry of astonishment. Oh, my poor Matilda, how you have changed. Then she replied, how you have changed? You are looking not young, very old looking. Yes, I have had some hard days since I saw you. Then she replied, yes, because this last 10 years, these days were very hard for me because of you. I saw you. And some miserable ones, and all because of you. And my hard days I passed because of you. Because of you means that diamond necklace was Ma'am Forrester's. Because of me? How is that? You recall the diamond necklace that you loaned me to wear to the minister's ball? That you recall that one for that minister's grand party? I have borrowed your diamond necklace. Yes, very well. Well, I lost it. How is that? Since you returned it to me? Then Matilda told that in that grand party, I lost your diamond necklace. Then she replied that how you have written to me? I written another to you exactly like it, and it has taken us 10 years to pay for it. You can understand that it was not easy for us who have nothing, but it is finished and I am decently content. And now I am satisfied because after 10 years we have paid that big amount. Then Ma'am Forrester stopped short. She said, you say that you bought a diamond necklace to replace mine? Then she replied, you mean to say that the necklace which you have given to me, that is a diamond necklace? Yes, you did not perceive it? Then Matilda replied, you have not seen your diamond necklace? They were just alike. That the diamond necklace which I have given you, it was just like your diamond, the previous diamond necklace. And she smiled, and Ma'am Forrester smiled with proud and simple joy. Ma'am Forrester was touched and took both her hands as she replied, oh my poor Matilda, mine were false. It means Ma'am Forrester replied that my diamond necklace, it was not the real diamond necklace, it was artificial. They were not worth over 500 francs. So the cost or the price of my diamond necklace is only not more than 500 francs. But Matilda, because she bought a diamond necklace and the cost was 36,000 francs. So now she understood, Ma'am Forrester also understood that the necklace which Matilda returned to me, that is the real diamond necklace. So the cost is 36,000 francs. They were not worth over 500 francs. And Matilda shocked when she heard that the diamond necklace was the artificial. It was not the real diamond necklace. So with this the chapter is over. You have to write 4 questions, think about it, and the talk about it also you have to write in your literature notebook. Thank you for watching the video. Have a nice day.